Oh, those are good moves. Keep going. Keep
Thank you very
going.
much.
And, it's been a little while here. I
Too
know
long.
we've said we're gonna do this regularly, but life, life, like
Comes at you fast, eh?
this, something like that, I guess.
Something like a
Um,
CC assist, just a laser.
just a little no look behind the back to Aaliyah. Yeah, it's
Freaking
dirty.
rocket.
Hey, well, the narrative's changed from, there's levels to this, as our friend DT would say. Um,
Sure.
I think Caitlin's showing you indeed there are levels to this, and it's a level that you guys in the WNBA have never seen before, and you're welcome.
You're very welcome for that. I know, and I think the level aspect, right, of like just that difference, what a few weeks can do in terms of gelling with the team.
Yeah.
Also having a couple of rest days. I just think that also that connection between obviously AB, now it's ABC squared. That's gotten, I mean, the improvement there, they understand each other better. They're looking for the passes. They're not missing as many. I mean, she still is without 5 to 7 assists a game that don't get counted. But at least it's not more than 10, which was really happening before, just that disconnect with her teammates. Just being, kind of completely unprepared for that level of vision, of court vision. Like you said, there are levels to this, and hers is absolutely unparalleled. No one's seen it before. And I think, taking it back to just the day before yesterday, she breaking the WNBA all-time assist record. And I think she'll break her own record possibly this year, even at 19, which is a ludicrous number for a game. I think she went into the half with 8. So assuming she doubled that in the second half, would just take it to 16. But yeah, I think the levels are that she got a little rest, and Mama woke up spicy one day and she said, this team really has to gel. The locker room needs to gel. I believe they went to some, all I know is that on Twitter, right, they're talking about this zoo exhibit thing that they went to as a team. And it seemed that after that, things really started meshing. So who knows? Maybe they all got Zubilation. Maybe they all got lit and, told everybody that they love each other. I don't know. Girls tend to do that sometimes, even, the more athletic ones.
Yeah. And so they had a rough start in terms of there was very little. The WNBA is unique. There's very little break between the college season and the start of the WNBA, even from the draft. So Caitlin's been going, getting to the national championship game, and she played as far as she could through the college season, to the very last game of the year. And then draft happened pretty quickly, and then season started very quickly. And then not just the season starting, but one of the most ridiculous schedules I think they could have made at the very beginning, with back-to-back days, playing often against the absolute toughest teams in the league, being the Sun, being the Liberty. It was just an absolute gauntlet at the beginning. And we've seen some of that firsthand, Mullen, in terms of the players gelling, and Caitlin's demeanor, even from the beginning of the season to now. She looked very sad at the beginning, like looked lonely. It looked like she wasn't having fun. Yeah. And now there's pictures that Bree Lurkey's taking, and it's all silly and fun and games, and it's like, yeah, the team's gelled, and they're friends now, and they're homies, and they have each other's back. And I don't think you could say that necessarily like the first month.
Well, they did. How could you? They didn't even know each other, right? These are complete strangers going back to that draft night, I remember you and I watching the reaction from Lexi Hull, and it's definitely Erica Wheeler for sure. And I forget who the third person was sitting there with them. But just their reaction to Caitlin getting drafted. So they're getting, this all-star that we're all waiting to watch and see what she does in W, but it's like they got to be friends. They got to make friends on the team, and that's going into any new atmosphere as an adult. But shoot, she's 22 years old. That's a lot of all the pressure that came with her coming to that team in general, as a second year in a row number one pick. Just a lot of pressure, and I think that she finally was able to kind of settle in. But the teammates started to kind of connect. There's still a lot of misses in terms of just, I think, passing or her ability, or I think her shooting the ball a little bit more. She's been open about saying, yeah, I probably could have shot the ball more, but I just think that they gel more as a team, and they've got inside jokies. They've got jokes that are happening during, national anthems. It's just, there has to be that balance on the basketball court and even her frustration, being able to show her frustration, like you said, with the games that we've seen in person. She just looked so sad. Her demeanor was super sad. And now it's frustration Caitlin, feisty Caitlin from the days of Iowa, where they just, where she's on that documentary saying, we never should have lost that effing game. She's slamming the chair. She's doing her stuff. And I think that is a good thing to see her able to show that emotion. It's showing she's feeling way more comfortable out there. So
yeah, she's coming into her own in terms of not like, it's got to be so insane coming into the league with all of these players, and like, you are easily the most well-known, popular female basketball player on the planet. And there had to be a lot of odd feelings, and even with the other teams and players, like, you've seen it change a little bit, right? Like, they're being way more friendly now, way more welcoming. They're dapping each other up. It's turned into less of that bitterness that we saw at the beginning of the year, and more of like oh shit, this is dope. We just got a $2 billion media deal, which is absolute bonkers, and everybody has to know that is only gonna lift everybody up. And not to mention, like, these players are now playing in front of like full NBA arenas that are absolutely sold out. Like, how fun is that if you're a player? So I think they finally have been like, whatever, it is what it is. These people are crazy that follow her. There are insane Iowa fans that have just latched on and become obsessed, and now they've taken over everything in the WNBA and whatever. The fans are crazy, but Kaylin, you're all right.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That was what I was thinking about, that shift, right? It kind of, I think we saw it in, honestly, that Mercury game where they went out and won it in Phoenix, because it was that whole Rook versus the vet. And even before the game started, you saw Brittany Griner kind of lean in, say some nice words, and it had a different vibe. That game, I felt that was the momentum shift of just, also not passing the torch or whatever, but just kind of finally looking and having these veteran players watch her game, give a post-game press conference and say, yo, she really is that good. And because I think DT said some nice things about her in that post-game press conference despite their loss, but I just think that, there's the hate and jealousy kind of part of the game, at least from the females, that yes, should have always had the ability to have these media deals, and no one was watching. That's okay.
Nobody.
But I just think that, it
was like pickleball.
Yeah, it's just
nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching.
Why are you going to get paid if nobody's watching? Now people are watching you because of Kaylin.
And they've accepted it, and it's okay. And
but Maul. But myself, probably everybody that's watched this year, that's kind of gotten some kind of investment into the Fever, the league, the WNBA, other teams. I can name way too many WNBA players than I care to admit, because I've watched all of her games. I've, seen the personalities of other players. I've latched on to other players that I actually enjoy watching. Mm-hmm. And that's the secret ingredient that everybody was missing at the beginning, is that by getting Caitlin to have all these eyeballs on the game and the sport, and even if it's just her games, you're seeing everybody else. You're getting to know their personalities, what they're saying, what they're doing, pushing Caitlin to the ground. If you're Kennedy Carter, just all of that stuff. It's, for better or worse, we're getting to know everybody. And that's a big win for all the other players.
Yep, because in the W you play every team and there's I mean, shoot, there's what, 12 head coaches. It's like that's the thing is you get to like you just said, it's that you're understanding there's oh my gosh, and even speaking of on Twitter, you're starting to see, oh wait, that's at least that's what I do. I see that certain people on certain teams are dating and there's storylines there. And that
Yeah.
is the coolest part or understanding like I've come so far so that just like you said, I'm looking at somebody and I'm watching the way they're playing and I'll look up their history and I'm like, oh, they
We've
played
got
at Baylor under Ken Mulkey. This all makes sense about their personality. Or,
Mollen,
I just
we've got to tell the
ridiculous.
story. We've got to tell the story about the game we were at in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse where Dijonai was there and we were sitting, kind of diagonal.
Close.
I don't think we've told that story yet, but that's a
Mm-mm.
good kind of like behind the scenes story that I want you to tell because it was also I think the very same day that Dijonai put that tweet out of what was it? You remember?
So it was the day after, I
Okay.
believe, because she had had a game the night before. And so off day for the Connecticut Sun, she obviously flies to watch her girlfriend, Melissa Smith, play. And she had tweeted out that, essentially not everybody is out here just to watch one person. It was a very direct,
Yeah.
it was a direct statement to Caitlin Clark. And also something about maybe her ability to play defense. I can't remember. It was just it was a tweet directed at Caitlin. And then she comes to Indy and watches the game
Yeah.
because this girl is educated. She is hella educated and she knows exactly what she's doing sitting courtside.
Oh,
And
going into the little courtside restaurant where you can get food, and she's standing in line with
just
everybody else, just in the mix of all the biggest Fever fans, little
just
midriff,
looking tall and
yeah,
looking
strong,
regal,
yeah,
perfect makeup,
yeah.
chiseled abs. She's in there to be like,
God, feels like you're talking about me.
yes, also you, of course.
But yeah,
That's
that
for
was the day after, and
is nuts.
she's like
She knew what she was doing. She's playing the
daring people
long
to say
game.
something, daring
It's
people to say something.
daring and not a soul. I mean, there's a guy who we sat next to, a sweet, I don't think he was on a he definitely wasn't a Fever ticket holder,
Season ticket holder, yeah,
right.
yeah.
But he was there watching the game with the Sun and he got so excited saying, hey, look over there. It's that guy's from that show, this Barstool show, and it's next to that lady in the yellow hat.
Yeah.
And then immediately you look at the lady in the yellow hat, it's Dijonai, and she's out there slamming white wine like it's, I mean, it was,
I mean, she
I
had to
never,
have 2 bottles. It was silly.
it
Like, she
had,
was
I
drinking
don't
full
know how she
glass, like.
walked. She was drinking, she did, at the theater games at Gainbridge, they serve you wine. Not that I would know, just kidding.
Yeah, what?
They serve you wine in these little like baby glasses that you get at wedding receptions, right? She was coming out with the full beer size glasses filled with white wine. And it happened several times. And demeanor didn't change. She just was there on her phone, though, I would like to say, the majority of the time.
Yeah.
We did see a little embrace at the end because they obviously won that game. I believe Joey Chestnut was also there for that game.
Yeah.
Shout out Hot Dog Prince. But I just
Also Indianapolis native.
That's right. He lives just north of the city, I believe. But it just Dijonai is an epic troller. She's incredibly smart. I'm pretty sure she got her master's at Stanford. And she's also Melissa Smith's girlfriend. So when she's putting these tweets out, it's like, whoa, you gotta wonder because we know Caitlin is saying that she's not watching social media, but this is involving your direct teammate, and your direct teammate's homegirl is saying this stuff. So yeah, that was the amount of wine though that she was able to put back. I salute my hat to her. That was an incredible performance by her outside of the basketball court. So that was pretty impressive to see.
These are the storylines that are fun. Like these are the storylines that we need more of that make people invested in watching. Let's bring it back kind of to present day here. It's All-Star weekend. Got a big break coming with the Olympics. Don't get us started.
Don't do it.
So Erica Wheeler tonight, skills contest. No Caitlin or Sabrina in the 3-point contest, but not because they didn't get picked, because it pays dog shit. And the scale that I saw was like, for participating, you get like $1,000 or something. Winner gets like $2,500 or
$2,500.
and even like just for participating in the All-Star game and getting selected, it's like not a lot. Let's just say that.
No.
And compared to the NBA, and it's a silly comparison, right? Because the NBA is such a revenue generator, and the players there get so much money.
Insane amount
Like
of money.
even in
Ludicrous
comparison
money.
to like baseball and like it's just basketball is wild. Women, it's on the rise with the new media deal and whatnot. But fun weekend, All-Star weekend. We have the WNBA All-Stars playing Team USA.
So exciting!
Oh my God!
Exciting!
I hope they take it. I hope it's like not a NBA All-Star game where they just dick about and score 700 points. But like I want it to be like.
Needs to be very competitive.
Let's actually win.
It reminds me, and I'm glad you brought that up, because in the MNBA, as they're now calling it, they don't take it seriously. It's a joke. They're all just kind of messing about. And I don't think I don't find that the East versus West, like when they did that, it's not that fun. It's not.
No, it's boring.
There's zero competition there.
There's no defense.
It's similar to what happens in the Pro Bowl. What's the point? Why? Yeah. Just select them to the Pro Bowl and the All-Star teams, and don't even make them play. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it's never made sense to me.
Let's all just come together and hang out.
Yeah, just have it, film their hangout. I don't know, film them making jokes at each other. There's no point or just all playing a pickup game. I have no idea, but I do hope, and I believe this will be taken seriously, because all I can think about is that game against the Lynx. And that Cheryl Reeves had the gall to say, I don't give two shits. And then.
Or one shit.
Or even one. And then what did Caitlin do in her house in Minnesota? She clapped in her face. She got the crowd up off the floor of the home team.
Oh, how disrespectful.
And
but so lovely.
She served the first triple-double in rookie history in that woman's house. So I think, and I believe, based on other people's egos on the WNBA All-Star team, because I do think there were some serious misses. I was thinking of just like Nneka Ogwumike. She maybe should have made, I don't know. And a lot of people talking about Arike should have made the Olympic team. She misses a lot of shots, but dang, she can be super clutch. She takes a lot. But I just think she's good. And I think that there's definitely, I was watching a couple of clips on Twitter, and there's Jonquel Jones saying, they're asking her, who are you most excited to play with on the team? And, she says something about dishing it out to Caitlin or something like that. And I've watched a couple of videos of them practicing too. And I just think that you've got a coach. There's also a really good, important difference too of the Olympic coach. It does seem that she has some sort of personal vendetta. I will call it that, because she's been talking and liking posts.
Before the season started,
Before it started, saying, there are other games to watch. Didn't matter then because nobody cared. Cheryl, just to be clear. But you've got Cheryl Miller, who has completely embraced and respects, because all Cheryl Miller, and coming from that family that she's in, like the most competitive family with her brother Reggie, it's like she understands they just want a ball. They just want to respect the ballers. They respect what the ball handler does. She just thinks Caitlin is so dope. And I think that having that in a coach, with Cheryl Miller understanding that you adapt the team to Caitlin's style of play, you don't make Caitlin fit in with the rest of the players. And I think she gets it.
And that's what we're talking about this whole beginning of the season, right? It was like, dude, Caitlin has to be the court general. She has to be the handler. She has to bring the ball up the court. You can't just put her in the wing. Like, it's not going to, like, you're losing your best asset by just putting her in the wing.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. Like, everybody coming into this year is like, oh, even Kennedy Carter's like, what can she do other than shoot 3-pointers? All right, well, you're seeing it now. She just broke the WNBA all-time assist record, not the rookie, but the all-time ever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing, like, I'm just stoked that people are being able to see what I think is their actually greatest asset, which is ball distribution.
Yep.
They're blitzing Caitlin, and that's why she's putting up so many assists, is because they're face guarding her all the way up the floor.
Yep.
So what that's going to do is, she's getting double teamed, triple teamed. That's going to open up your teammates, and we've seen exactly what's happened, and that's just like a silly number of assists the past 6-7 games. I think she's averaging well over 10.
Yep. But also, like you just said, that ability to, I think that rarity, though, in terms of how much every single team that the Fever play against is so concerned about making sure the ball's out of Caitlin's hand, is when they do that, they are doing a bit of a disservice to understanding that her IQ, her court vision is like nobody they've ever seen before. So I think her ability to pass the ball to her teammates, kind of like we talked about in the beginnings, Aaliyah being ready to make those cuts, finishing strong. I think Aaliyah's gained a ton of confidence since the very beginning of the season. Yep. But I just think that, it'll be really interesting to see, just sort of how these other vets on this team that have been selected on the WNBA team, and even, I couldn't be I know your heel is Kennedy Carter. Mine is still Angel Reese. This goes back to watching them compete the olden days.
She's not worth. It's like, it's the double nonsense. Like, nobody ever has given a shit about a double streak. Let's get out of here. And the fact that she's like calling for the ball when the game's over with 10 seconds left, it's gross, dude. It's like, no, but I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I think she should be at, in the voting, like in their, you'll have like a top 10 in MVP votes. I think she's probably in the top 10. I think she's probably already the best guard in the W. I mean, that, again, biased as well, but like stats wise,